Rastafari. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Ross John Farah here, and I want to do a video here again showing. This would be part 3, you could say, of the flat Earth, and also about how Babylon has flipped the entire globe to fit its own personal agenda. The Gentile, you could say, the Goyim, white supremacy shitstem that has taught us this flat, the whole Earth being a globe when it's more round, and a lot of the things that I've been taught about maps and about the earth, and I was showing through biblical, scriptural facts, how what's been taught has been a lie, and how the whole circumference of the earth has been turned upside down to fit the Nazis and the Gentile Goyim, NASA, all of this lies that we've been taught for years. Now, what you see here is the true size of Africa. Let me get up a little closer. And you see that this is Africa, which is pretty much the largest continent on the globe, though we were always taught that it was the second largest because Asia, which in reality they only said that because they cut so much of the globe up through colonialism, through their own perversion of the world. They actually had cut up Africa into like the Middle East and some other parts, but I'll get into that in just a few seconds. But look at this. This is how much Africa can fill in. See? This is from the Mail Online, the Daily Mail, a UK newspaper. And you can see basically every country, except as for maybe most of Russia, but every part of the globe fits in Africa. China, America, Europe, India, and the UK all can fit into Africa. And this shows the enormity of the African continent, of how many countries fit inside it. It covers the same surface as 13 countries, including the United States, China, and the whole of Eastern Europe. But we were always taught Africa was like the second largest and everything else. So that shows you that all things, come from right out of Africa. And we have always been taught this Mercator map, where countries in the center appear smaller than they are, and that only bigs up the countries of Europe, which they always want to say is the center of everything. And this is the map that usually we've been shown, this New World Order map. But in reality, this is the map that what we should, excuse me a second, brothers and sisters, just getting this right here. Let's give me a sec. All right, and just coming up. Sorry about that. Sometimes it takes slower. But here, this is the Mercator map, you could say. And as you can see here, Africa smaller. They big up most of this part of the globe. America, Greenland. And by showing you what the true map looks like, you'll see that the traditional Mercator projection map that we learned about in school has a cultural and ethnic bias because of the relatively size of the land masses. For instance, Greenland and Africa are roughly the same size, while in reality, Africa is 4 times as large. And this is usually what they've always taught us. And I think there was a show called The West Wing where they were actually showing this new map where you can see Africa is a lot bigger. And if you notice here, if you study this map, look at this, brothers and sisters. This is Europe. They always say the center is like, they always want to put themselves at the center. Well, if you study the center right here, see how it's shaped like almost a dragon, and Italy looks like the tongue coming out? If you notice that. And what does that tell us? The center of the earth is what? Hell, they always said. So they're putting themselves at the center. So where is the center? You could say that basically humanity, well, this is the truth. Humanity came from here. Genesis, Exodus, so on and so forth, through into the Goyim, Gentile nations. That's how really the world was, you should look at it. But this actually, in the show called The West Wing, this upside down view of the world map unnerved the show's spokesperson for the President of the United States. But again, these maps and things have a psychology that affect a lot of us. And we've always been taught one thing, but when we want to learn the truth, we forget a lot of people get affected by it because it turns their whole world upside down, and excuse the pun, brothers and sisters, but that's the truth. And this is the Eurocentric map. This is what we've always thought the world looked like. Again, this is part of the flat earth, well, the whole global, Gentiles way of thinking. How they always wanted us to see the maps of the world and stuff. But this is an interesting point. And again, they always want to big up themselves, like in this picture of the New Yorker, which shows New York as the center of everything in the rest of America. And that's how most of the Eurocentrics see themselves, as this big thing, and everyone else is irrelevant. So yes, brothers and sisters, give thanks and praise for listening to Iman. And hope this encourages ones to deep studies on many of the topics that I've discussed today. And keep the faith, keep the link. Holy I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Mama Africa. One love.